Hannah and Kevin with you. The USA men's basketball team playing its first of 5 exhibition games, only one on U.S. soil before the Paris Olympics tomorrow night at 10:30 Eastern against Canada in Las Vegas. Entering this past season, there were no less than 26 Canadian-born players playing in the NBA, the most of any non-U.S. country. Here is Kevin Durant addressing a calf issue that he's dealing with right now.
Yeah, I feel better. I heard it working out probably about 10 days before camp. So just working through it, just taking it day by day.
You think you'll be able to play sometime in Abu Dhabi?
I hope so. Yeah, that's I hope that's the plan. But like I said, it's taking it day by day, see what happens tomorrow, and just keep building.
Tim Bontemps is our man on the scene in Vegas. KD looking to make a little history, hoping for a 4th gold medal. What can you share with us about the status of his injury, Tim?
Well, Hannah, Kevin Durant was talking about hopefully playing in Abu Dhabi because he is not playing here in Las Vegas on Wednesday night against Team Canada. What is going to be a very highly anticipated opening game of this 5-game exhibition slate. Canada, as you mentioned, Hannah, has a ton of NBA talent, I should say, led by MVP candidate Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They're going to be one of the medal favorites in France when we get over there to the Olympic Games. But Team USA obviously is the heavy favorites with a team that's been compared favorably to the Dream Team back in '92. And for any team, obviously not having Kevin Durant could be a problem, but Team USA could turn to, say, Jason Tatum or Kawhi Leonard or Anthony Edwards or Jrue Holiday or a host of players potentially fill his spot in the starting lineup. And this will be our first opportunity, Hannah, to see exactly what Steve Kerr is going to do with what is a plethora of rotation options across the board. But one of them that he won't have is Kevin Durant, who is out for this game. And as he said, hopes to be back in the Abu Dhabi portion of their trip coming up here over the next few days.
Yeah, Canada will be interesting. They beat the USA in FIBA last year, winning a bronze. And the USA came away without a medal. A couple of players on the USA team now we're in that game as well. Tim Bontemps, thank you so much.
Busy, we both have podcasts, but he is our international man of mystery. He's going to be chronicling the Olympics in Paris starting later this month. Brian Windhorst, I am so excited for Olympic basketball. I, unlike you, will not be there, but I will be watching from the same time zone that the games are happening in. So I'm very excited about that. We got the final teams in yesterday. Croatia, God bless them. They made a nice run at it. Giannis threw them out. Spain is in. Brazil is in. And who was the last one that got in yesterday?
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. Jose Alvarado. Fantastic scenes there. This is this the most fun Olympic field ever? I mean, this is going to be incredible.
I have been saying that it'll be the most highly competitive international basketball event in history. We've never had as many teams who have a real shot at medaling. It was an absolute mountain to climb to get into the final 12. And frankly, the U.S. has a spectacular draw. Now, they had an absolute dream draw in the World Cup last year and did not medal. So just because you get a good draw doesn't mean that you're going to medal. But the way it's all shaken out, it is absolutely totally set up for them, and they're going to need it. It's going to be a real challenge. And I just tell people this: between 2006 and 2021, USA basketball did not lose. They did not lose in the World Cup. They did not lose in the Olympics. They did not lose in run-up games. They'd never lost. And since 2021, I think, including run-up game losses, I think they've lost about 8 or 9 times. So, and they, by the way, and that was they won the gold medal in 21. So, it is not because we don't have focus. It's not because our program is broken, what have you. It's just because that's how good the world is.
Well, we have more or less pretty much the best team we could possibly field going to this Olympics. I mean, this is everybody is going, including Embiid, who, had his pick of 3 different teams he could represent, 2 of which are in the Olympics. By the way, speaking of Embiid, one of the reasons this field is so loaded is because the host team is actually awesome. So the host team automatically gets a spot, and this is not a case for some team that would have no chance to make a 12-team field is getting a charity spot. We know who France has. France always does well in international competitions. And as you pointed out to me over text yesterday, They've played a couple friendlies in the last week and blown the doors off Germany. Now, no Wagner brothers in that game, and somebody else who I'm forgetting. Like, just blew the
Right, but they
doors
won by
off
like
them.
40 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here are the groups. Our group, I guess I got to go R now that Croatia's out. Our group, we're in Group C: Puerto Rico, USA, South Sudan, and Serbia. As you said, that sounds like a very tough group because Puerto Rico is always frisky. South Sudan's an incredible story. They're probably overmatched here. And Serbia has the best player in the world, and they're coming pretty loaded to the Olympics.
Yes, and they've been together for a long time. They're already, in fact, Serbia is playing, I believe, on Thursday or Friday of this week. Serbia is playing France. Serbia is also playing the U.S. in a exhibition game next week in Abu Dhabi. The U.S. has a real challenging run-up schedule. They're playing the Canadians this week in Vegas, which is terrific.
I think on Wednesday, right?
Yep. They're playing the Serbians and the Australians next week in Abu Dhabi. So a couple things there. First off, the U.S. got a little bit of a break with Puerto Rico winning. I take nothing away from the Puerto Ricans. They haven't been in the world, haven't been in the Olympics since Athens. It's a terrific accomplishment for them. But Puerto Rico is a guard-based team. Jose Alvarado and Tremont Waters, the former Celtic, are their two best players. They beat Lithuania to get in. Lithuania beat the U.S. last year in the World Cup, and that was without Domantas Sabonis. Sabonis didn't play last
is another team that always seems to rise to the occasion in the biggest competitions.
Yes, and so I'm not giving the U.S. anything, but getting Puerto Rico instead of Lithuania is a small win. And the South Sudan, quite frankly, is the weakest team at the tournament. Now, that doesn't mean that they won't be competitive, but if you're going to pick, Japan and South Sudan, the Asian representative and the African representative, they are the two weakest teams, and Japan, has shown some success in recent years. So, South Sudan is the quote unquote, if you're going to rank 12 teams, they're the 12th team. I don't want me to say. And so that's just an advantage. The thing that was huge for the U.S. is, one, because of the rules of the game, Canada couldn't be drawn into their bracket. And Canada is the real beast in this tournament because they're inappropriately ranked. The Canadians are ranked 7th in the world. And the way the groups, I won't go into all the details, but the way the groups are drawn, it has to do with your world ranking. You're basically given different seeds. And the Canadians were essentially a 3 seed. And 1 to 4, the Canadians were a 3 seed. And it's preposterous to call them a 3 seed, but the reason that they are is because your ranking is based on like a multiple year thing, and the Canadians have sort of kind of just got good, and they won the bronze last year, and so they actually ranked 7th in the world, and that made them a 3 seed. And so whatever group got the Canadians was screwed. And the U.S., because they're both from the Americas, the Americas representatives, automatic qualifiers were Canada and the U.S., they were not allowed to be drawn into the same group. And so huge, by just the rules and the rankings, huge advantage for the U.S. that they don't have to deal with the Canadians in their group as the 3 seed.
So let's
get Puerto Rico. Let's
just outline the other two groups. Group B, which we will maybe come back to, maybe not. France, Germany, who just won the World Cup last summer, Japan, and Brazil. It's a good group. Again, it's got Japan in there as sort of what should be an easy win for the other 3 teams. Brazil is not the same Brazil juggernaut of old, but they're Brazil. France is unbelievable. Germany's really good. Group A, I saw this and I was like, oh my God. Australia, Canada, Greece, Spain. Oh my God. Like, that's got to be the best Olympic basketball group, not including the USA, ever formed. That is the group of death.
Death isn't even strong enough. What's a fate worse than death? Yeah. The thing is, like, the U.S. was going to get one qualifying team into their group. And the options of the qualifying teams were Spain, who's currently ranked number 2 in the world, by the way.
And always just like, the Gasols are gone, Ibaka's gone, Rudy Fernandez is still here, La Bamba's gone. They always seem to, like, you wake up in the semifinals of any tournament, it's like, oh, Spain's here.
Right, and that's why they're inappropriately ranked number 2. They're not really the second best team in the world, but because they obviously didn't qualify, they had to qualify through the tournament. But these are the qualifiers that could have been instead of Puerto Rico. Spain, number ranked 2 team in the world. Greece, Giannis, and Puerto Rico. Those, or there was one more I'm forgetting. Who beat Latvia? Brazil. So Brazil, Puerto Rico, comparable, but the U.S. could have ended up with Spain or Greece if the draw had gone differently. And instead they got Puerto Rico. Again, no offense to the Puerto Ricans. They just don't have Giannis on their roster. And so, yeah, the one thing about the Olympic tournament that is important to realize, there are 12 teams, 3 groups, 8 teams advance to the knockout round. So 3 of those teams from the group of death are going to make it through to the knockout round. So somebody is going to be the big loser in there. And so one loss doesn't kill you. You can even potentially advance with 2 losses, depending on how it goes. So keep that in mind, but that is something going to be super important. And the Canadians are an absolute beast.
They are deep, even without Wiggins, who's not going. They are super deep. If you go through their roster, you're like, oh my God, this is a lot of NBA. And Edie's not going, right?
Edie is not playing. No.
They're super deep. They beat us in the World Cup. Now this is a different Team USA, but everyone always likes to play the game of, okay, it's the Olympics, Team USA or the field. And again, the United States,
it's okay. I will allow that when talking about the Olympics.
Redeem team and forward, we've won every gold medal. Now, some of those gold medal games have been tough, including the last one against France, right? We played France in the gold medal game. It was a tough game. We were down at halftime.
The semifinals and finals. Look, Greg Popovich.
Australia semis, right? We were down in that game too.
Look, Australia had been building for a decade to that game. And they were up by 15, up by 12 or 13, which in a FIBA game is like being up by like 18 because it's a shorter
FIBA
game.
Games go so fast, man.
And Greg Popovich, in one of the great coaching moves of his career, I'm honestly going to say that, pulled out a triangle and 2 in the middle of the third quarter. And it threw Australia off for like 4 possessions. Durant hit a couple of threes. Kevin Durant carried the U.S. to the gold medal in 21. There's no other way to say it. Drew Holiday was great. Jason Tatum was really good off the bench. Kevin Durant made it happen. But then the France game came down to the last 3 minutes in the gold medal game. Like the U.S. had the lead for most of the game. Durant was great. And they had it under control. They had a double-digit lead, and France cut it down to like, it might have been a 1-possession game in the last 3 minutes. I can't remember exactly, but yes, it was a competition right down to the end. And the Australians,
some of the games against Spain, including the Redeem Team gold medal game, were like single-digit games late in the game. We ended up winning by 9, 11, 10, 12, whatever, but they were like good games.
Kobe had to bring the Redeem Team home in the final, and famously now with the documentary, sent a message to Pau Gasol right out of the gate and all that stuff. And yeah, Kobe, I mean, there was other incredible, LeBron was absolutely jaw-dropping throughout the 2008 Olympics. But it was Kobe who brought him home in the fourth quarter. But it took a great fourth quarter from Kobe to win that gold medal.
So the Team USA versus the field thing, this is the toughest it's ever been. And I will not make you answer it before I answer it. I think when I saw the groups, I said, okay, I think I would still take Team USA over the field because we're definitely going to get to the elimination round. And then you'd have to see where it breaks from there. But I don't feel great about it because if you catch Serbia, there's like 5 teams. If you catch them on a bad day or you shoot badly or they shoot well, like I don't feel great about it. I'm just, maybe it's my we kicking in. I'm still taking us like 51-49 over the field.
Yeah, I'm somewhere in that zone.
We just have we have everybody. Now Durant's injured. It's apparently not serious. He's going to be fine.
We'll see.
Like he's our all-time leading scorer.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm Zach. I'm going to allow it. I'm not going to be writing it that way, but that's how I'm going to be talking the next month. So that's fine.
I think I would take the U.S. over the field, but it's tight. But I do think our team is loaded enough where that to me still feels like the slight right call.
Here's the thing. I agree with that. Because these are one-off 40-minute games, they're really toss-ups. I've been covering international basketball since 2006, and I have seen some wild results. There's been a couple of times when the U.S. has been on the opposite side of it. There's been a couple of times when they've been on the winning side of it. But there's just, it's just like NCAA tournament games, really. You see stuff like, a team that really isn't a better team win because they get real hot shooting for 5 minutes. You see, because there's only 5 fouls and technical fouls count as personal fouls, you see a player flip out and cost his team the game. And that has happened with Luka in his career. And that was,
By the way, Mavs have to be relieved that Slovenia did make it, man, because Luka was kind of lumbering around out there.
Yeah. I texted somebody that I said, boy, the Mavs might be secretly happy that the Greeks beat the Slovenians last weekend and knocked out Luka. And the guy was like, not even secretly. They're openly relieved that Luka gets the rest of the summer off. So
you're talking about fouls and the randomness of the outcomes.
Yeah, I just, and the officiating is suspect at best. This is what I always say when people complain about NBA officiating. Yes, it's not perfect. There's a lot wrong with it. We're actually kind of in a rough era right now. Watch college basketball, not necessarily the NCAA tournament. Watch an average college basketball game on a Tuesday night. Rough. And then FIBA referees, you see wild calls. And the thing about it is that each individual, one bad call is very hurtful. The U.S. is very thin at big men. It's why they had to go recruit a naturalized citizen to be the starting center. They're very thin at big man. And if Embiid gets a BS foul, which is guaranteed, it could change the results of things. So the thing is that when the U.S. lost their games last year, and they lost 3 times last year in the World Cup, basically what happened in that tournament was the U.S.'s perimeter defense was absolutely atrocious, and they were getting absolutely schooled on the perimeter. It was Halliburton, Brunson, Ant Edwards was a part of it, but Austin Reeves, Ant wasn't as bad, but we just were getting shredded on the perimeter. And the only guy back there was Jaren Jackson. And Jaren Jackson can't stay out of foul trouble.
Oh, man, I wiped away the Jaren Jackson FIBA experience from my brain.
Yeah. My God. He can't stay out of foul trouble.
He couldn't get a rebound.
He couldn't get a rebound. All he was doing was fouling. And then they had Walker Kessler on the roster, and for whatever reason, Steve Kerr just decided he didn't want to play him. So he's doing crazy stuff, playing crazy lineups. So now they have, they're going to probably, the starting lineup will develop over the next couple of weeks, but there's a decent chance they're going to start AD and Embiid. And so you certainly have potentially 2 starting centers. And then you have Bam Adebayo, who was their starter in Tokyo, coming off the bench as the backup. And then you have some other options of other guys who LeBron could play center. But you go down the line and you look at the centers, the French are already running pick and rolls with Gobert and Wembanyama. That's the French. The Germans are huge across the back line. Mo Wagner gave the U.S. a lot of problems, and they have this guy named Weitman, who's their starting center, who's a former draft pick, who's just a big galoot. He's a
Beast inside beats.
Fuck on big chicken in the spot.
Beast,
I'm
been
a boy
that
child in the spot. Big queens know the fuck. Foreign whips to the big jet. He getting money, it was like how we did that. Running up that bag, niggas mad, big facts. Being in my section, getting big smack. Foreign whips to the big jet. He getting money, it was like how we did that. Running up that bag, niggas mad, big facts. Being in my section, getting big smack. Foreign whips to the big jet. He been crying all week and he still ain't get his bitch back. We get bread and she dig that. His glass slips for the big packs. Been hitting TD 3 weeks, it ain't clipped yet. Show him how to make a big flex. Bust 100, that's a big snack. It ain't money, I ain't with that. Play with my money, hear that click clack, nigga, get your shit back. I've been in this for a big while. You a small dog, little child, show him how we get wild. Stack this money up and let it pile. Me and child in the spot, let it snow, they gon' need a plow. Niggas hate, but they jack style. Fuck impact to the Matic, I've been going wild. Shorty wanna eat, nigga had to dig it down. Know I'm from the rock, so I don't play around. Foreign whips to the big jet. He getting money, it was like how we did that. Running up that bag, niggas mad, big facts. Guys being in my section, getting big smack. Foreign whips to the big jet. He getting money, it was like how we did that. Running up that bag, niggas mad, big facts. Guys being in my section, getting big smack.
We gon' fuck up a bag, niggas
mad that we flexin'. Diamonds on my neck, so you know we got protection. New wave sound, real niggas get in tune, and we bout to run the views. Yeah, and we only going viral, only throwing high-lows. Bad bitches, and they only love to swallow. Me and Puerto Ricans, and we only poppin' bottles. Never fuck with hood bitches, only top models. Yeah, it's that big step of shit, not that broke nigga shit. Niggas talk about money, but they never had shit. You can find me in that black truck, or that new foreign whip. Yeah, it's that big step of shit, not that broke nigga shit. Niggas talk about money, but they never had shit. You can find me in that black truck, or that new foreign whip. Foreign whips to the big jet. He getting money over his life, how he did that. Running up that bag, niggas mad, big facts. Guys being in my section, getting big smack, dig that. Foreign whips to the big jet. He getting money over his life, how he did that. Running up that bag, niggas mad, big facts. Guys being in my section, getting big smack, dig